Hey Sagittarius, welcome to your weekly forecast for May 17th through the 23rd. This is going to be a reading for Sagittarius, Sun, Moon, and Rising. Okay, if you've happened to fall upon it outside of the dates I mentioned, don't you worry your pretty little heads, my dears. You found it when you were meant to find it, okay? When there were messages here that you were ready to hear. We're going to connect here and see what's coming up for Sagittarius, Sun, Moon, and Rising. We do have very powerful energy we're coming into in the following week with the lunar eclipse, supermoon that's happening on the 26th. So we may already begin to feel those energies creeping in this week. We're going to see how things are affecting you guys as a collective, the Sagittarius collective, okay? See how things are going on the Sagittarius front here. Your first card is the Queen of Swords. Now, this doesn't surprise me, okay, because one of the things that's happening as we're coming into this supermoon energy, there's going to be a lot of clearing away limited thinking, limited beliefs, and cutting away anything that no longer serves us. Right? So this is going to be closing out cycles, patterns. If there's these relationships or situations that we've been holding on to because we had insecurities about leaving them, or they were fulfilling some kind of lesson and we were having a hard time letting go. Now that you're in this shifting energy and you don't need it anymore, you're going to be releasing it and letting it go. And the Queen of Swords is very much a card about boundaries. And when I pulled the Queen of Swords right now, Spirit immediately gave me a vision, like this visual for you guys, which was very powerful. And so this is the way I feel you guys are going to be taking your power back, Sagittarius. Or this is the way I feel that you guys are going to be in the Queen of Wands energy, because this is what Spirit showed me. Spirit showed me someone walking on crutches with like an injured leg, right? And then the leg healed, but they kept walking on the crutches. And they got very annoyed and they just kind of like let them drop and they started running. So there could have been a situation like maybe it was a safe place for you to land, or you were in some kind of a situation trying to get on your feet, or you had some emotional wounds or things you had to work through to where you were holding on to some kind of a crutch or being dependent on someone or something. But I feel it was a very codependent dynamic. In Sagittarius, I feel like you're getting to this energy where you're back on the mend, right? Like you're healing, and this codependent thing isn't feeling good for you anymore. It's feeling like it's holding you back. It's feeling like it's slowing you down, like it's becoming an inconvenience. And that's the thing about the Queen of Swords. The Queen of Swords can come off a little bit cold, because the Queen of Swords doesn't have patience. Like, you're in or you're out. She doesn't have time for indecisiveness, right? You are on her team helping her, or you need to get out of the way. And so some of you are coming into this energy where you have this independence, right? You don't need somebody to come in and do it with you, or you don't need somebody to come in and take care of you. Like, you have this independence and you don't have patience for anyone who's not on the same page as you. And so you may be leaving a situation or a codependent dynamic. I specifically feel breaking away from a codependent energy. And this could be a work situation. God knows there's been periods in my life way back in the past where I stayed in jobs because I had this weird codependency thing going on there. It doesn't always have to be love and romance. It could be family. It could be, feeling bad about leaving your boss in a struggling company. It can be all kinds of things. Okay, but there's this sense of breaking away from a codependent, specifically a codependent dynamic here. And you're like, I don't need the codependency because I see how powerful I am. That's how I feel your energy, Sagittarius. Your next card, wow, is the King of Swords. Okay, so now I need to say something. I need to back up a little bit. I should have said this when the Queen of Swords came up. I know a lot of you are used to watching tarot readings because you're looking at love readings, or you're looking at like trying to understand somebody in your life. And traditionally in tarot, when we see court cards, it's a person. It's a person influencing the situation. And I'm not going to say that's not happening here. You know, I'm not going to say that there isn't Aquarius, Gemini, or Libra in the mix here, that there isn't some kind of air sign that might be affecting a situation. Some of you might have that. Some of you might be dealing with that kind of person. Okay? However, if you're new to this channel, in the weekly forecasts, I want to focus on you. I want it to be about you and less about other people. Okay, I want it to be about you. And so this oftentimes the court cards in that way, in that dynamic, with that intention, when we set that intention, it's about characteristics that you're developing. It's about energy that you're stepping into. Okay, if you have an air sign placement, know and understand that that might really be coming at the forefront for you in terms of planning, logic, getting things figured out, getting the game plan down. Okay, now I see something super specific here, looking at the Queen of Swords and the King of Swords. Okay, I see two dynamics here. The first dynamic I see is you're in an energy where you're seeing yourself as an equal with somebody. Like, you know, they've met their match. Maybe you feel like somebody had power over you. And maybe this is the way some of you are breaking out of the codependency, as you're seeing yourself as, hey, you know what? I'm just as smart as you. I'm just as capable as you. I'm just as able as you, right? So there could be a sense of like, maybe you weren't seeing yourself as an equal and now you're starting to see yourself as an equal. Or even walking into the world. I feel like some of you Sagittarius, because of life and because of things that have happened, Sagittarius, you guys kind of get stereotyped. People kind of stereotype you guys as being very bold or like really the life of the party, really like wild one, really out there, go, 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 like bold energy. People don't often associate Sagittarius with somebody who is timid, okay? But I feel like some of you, you had really hard cycles you've been going through and it's broken your spirit. Broken your spirit so much to where you have a hard time looking people in the eyes sometimes. It's like you're just kind of like walking around like looking at the floor or having a hard time making eye contact. And I feel there's this energy of breaking out of that. Like you're getting your fire back. You're remembering who you are. And you're seeing yourself as there's nobody here that I have to feel inferior to. There's nobody here that I have to feel intimidated by. You know, I'm remembering who I am. You know, I'm remembering who Sagittarius is, right? You're coming back into that sense of like, you know, nobody has anything on me. Nobody has anything above me. Nobody is better than me. You know, nobody's doo-doo doesn't stink. You know, like that kind of energy here. And that's what I'm feeling. The other dynamic I'm feeling here is balancing out feminine and masculine energies. Okay, so I feel like you're really balancing out your head and your heart. Even though I don't have the Justice card here, these two cards together are giving me the vibe of the Justice card where the scales are balanced. And this is about making good decisions. Being able to listen to your heart, but also to do it in a logical way where you don't go jumping in head first and getting burned and regretting it. And then you don't make a soulless decision just based on logic and then feeling unfulfilled. You're not going to have that kind of cycle. You're going to have the masculine and the feminine energies within yourself balanced. Okay? I think this is especially true if you've been judging yourself a lot where you're like, I need to be, like, for example, right? Like you might be a woman, okay? And you might be like, I need to be more feminine, right? I'm not feminine enough. I'm too masculine. Or I come off as like too intimidating, right? But you're learning to honor your masculinity, right? But also have the femininity, because we all have feminine and masculine energy. And so some of you maybe have felt like it's kind of out of balance, right? And instead of going from one extreme to another, you're balancing those energies, okay? Your next card here, one more thing. For some of you Sagittarius, and this might be maybe for some of you younger ones, although it does happen in adulthood. Boy, can I tell you it happens in adulthood. I feel like there's this breaking away from authority or judgment of parental figures. It's like I'm stepping away from your opinions of me, your judgments of me, right? Like if you cannot accept who I am or how I am, okay, that's on you. But I send you guys nothing but love, right? I just feel there's this non-dramatic, non-emotional, just kind of like release. Like I'm releasing myself from this authority kind of situation for some of you. And with like a parent's dynamic. King of Swords is the master of negotiation, the master of conflict resolution. So whatever you're stepping away from, this is my favorite part, Sagittarius, you're doing it in a very logical way. It's not going to be about this massive, scary tower moment. It's not going to be about, you know, this big explosive thing. It's kind of, I'm hearing the word anticlimactic. Like you always kind of knew this day would come, but maybe you thought it was going to be more dramatic. And it's not going to be dramatic. Because like I said, you guys are healed and you're in your power. So you're not as triggered by it. You're just kind of like, you know what? I'm just going to accept that this is how it is. I'm just going to accept that these people or this situation isn't going to change. And I'm just going to accept that there's nothing wrong with me. And I'm just going to stop being in this craziness, right? And so I feel like you're stepping away in a very logical way to where any business that needs to be handled, I feel like you're in the King of Swords energy where you're able to negotiate you know, a better circumstance for yourself, or you're able to stand up for yourself in a non-emotional way. Like I feel, Sagittarius, like people are looking at you and their mouth is dropped. Like they didn't see this coming and they don't know what to say because you're so calm about it. You're so calm, you're so level-headed, you're so logical. You're not coming in with this energy, yelling, screaming, crying, being upset, being hurt, being offended, to where they can say, oh, Sagittarius, oh, you just have a temper. Oh, you're just so emotional. Oh, you're just so dramatic. They can't say that to you because you're like, all right, let's talk about this. Let's be reasonable about this. Let's look at the facts. Let's look at the facts. Let's look at the steps that need to be taken. You're like cool as a cucumber and their mouth is like dropped that they don't even know. Like, I really feel like they didn't see this coming. And I feel like there's this shift where they're starting to realize that they don't have the power over you. I think some of you have been watching the videos for a while. And you've heard me talk about the 5 of Swords, about like deprogramming triggers. And I feel like you've been doing that. And I feel like you're coming into the moment when people are going to realize, oh, shoot, those triggers don't work anymore. Those buttons don't work anymore. Man, right? Like they don't know what to do. They don't have anything on you. Your next card is the 7 of Swords. And 7 of Swords is going to be here having to do, well, 7 of Swords, first and foremost, let me tell you, it gets a bad rap, okay? 7 of Swords here gets a bad rap because it's typically stereotyped as theft or somebody who's being very sneaky, somebody who doesn't have the best intentions or the best motives, somebody who has some kind of a mask, right, on, because they're trying to get something out of you. They're trying to get into your pockets, or they're trying to get into your pants, or they're trying to get into your pockets through your pants. You know, they're doing some kind of shifty stuff here. But the 7 of Swords can also have to do with laying low and having a low profile. And so as a lot of you are coming into the game plan, the action plan, it might be best not to tell everybody details about what you're doing or what you're planning. Sometimes it's because you're dealing with people who want to steal your ideas and they want to beat you to the punch. Sometimes it's because they want to kind of try to come in and sabotage because they're haters and they don't want to see you succeed or be happy, or they're going to try to use it against you to throw you under the bus and be able to, you know, look like the good guy. Like, oh, look what Sagittarius is doing, right? Sometimes it's that kind of dynamic. And sometimes it's simply because when we're very early on our healing and we're very early at like a particular shift, we go through this roller coaster of confidence and discouragement. Confidence and discouragement. So one moment you could be really confident in this Queen of Swords kind of energy, King of Swords kind of energy, really sure about what you want to do. And then like you want to tell somebody else, well, you know, let me tell you how well I've thought about this. Let me tell you how I'm going to handle this. You know, let me tell you why I know this is going to work. You might be dealing with some negative Nellies here who are going to come in and be like, oh, well, that's stupid. And that's not going to work because of this. Or oh, you're being like ridiculous, or you're having your head in the clouds. Or they may say things or do things that just kind of completely and totally deflate your confidence, right? I sometimes give the example of you have this candle with this burning flame that's like, it's your inspiration, it's your passion, it's your hope, it's your drive. Like, you're like, yes, like, you know, there's this desire to move forward. There's this hope for the future. And you're just, you know, walking with your candle happily along the way, and they just come up and blow it out. So it might be a good idea to protect your candle, right? By not showing it to everybody. They don't need to know about it, right? Let yourself kind of lay low here. Your next card, my darlings, is the Fool card. And this is a Major Arcana card. And this is exciting. This is good, okay? Major Arcana cards typically come up when we're at a significant crossroads. We're at a significant transition, and you're coming into a new chapter in your life when we see the Major Arcana. And so these are times when we have these kinds of transitions that your angels and guides are really around you. They're supporting you. They're helping you. You can call on them. You can ask them for guidance as you're going through the transition. So Major Arcana energy is energy that's going to be around for a while. Okay, we're not just talking about May 17th through 23, or even through the week of the the lunar eclipse. It's going to go longer. It's going to go past that. This could be a few months. This could be a year. And so the Fool is basically a leap of faith kind of energy, going in a new direction, making a shift. Typically, it comes up when you're making a very drastic change in your life. Okay, and there might be people around you that think you are nuts, that you are crazy. You know, I can tell you, when I walked away from my career and I decided I was going to do tarot and energy healing, and then I was going to go on YouTube, there were people who were cringing for me. They were like, "Oh my gosh, like, what are you doing? You're throwing away something very stable for just something that's going to go nowhere," right? They didn't understand. Okay. But when the Fool card comes, it's like, you can't help but take that leap. You might, almost like the Temperance card, you might feel a sense of like a pull or a calling, okay? The only thing about the transition, like I said, maybe kind of lay low, because if you share it with people, they might try to tell you you're crazy or you're doing the wrong thing, or they might be very discouraging. But the only thing about the Fool card is that you need to take the leap in a calculated way, right? You need to stick to the game plan here. You got to get the game plan down. It's not enough just to say that, you know what? I'm ready for change. I have faith in the universe. I have faith in my angels, and I'm going to jump and they're going to catch me. We don't want to test the angels. We don't want to give them a crazy, crazy difficult obstacle course to rescue us from. We have to try to have certain conditions already set, right? So if you're quitting a job and making a career change, might be a good idea to have some kind of safety net or some kind of transition. You know, when I quit my career and I went into doing tarot and energy healing and YouTube, I had other things lined up. I had independent contract work that I was doing with psychic hotlines. I was doing DoorDash for a while, right? It wasn't just like, well, I'm just going to quit my job and everything's going to be taken care of, right? There was a transition period. So this is a good time, right? Clarity is coming in for you to come in with the game plan. And then the Fool card is telling us that you're going to come into taking the leap of faith, but you're going to look before you jump, right? You're going to try to have a little bit of control about where you're going to land, instead of just saying, oh, I'm just going to jump and the angels are going to catch me, or I'm just going to jump and the wind is going to blow me to where I need to be, right? There needs to be a little bit of a plan. Okay, I'm going to talk about this in the next podcast, because I wanted to do the manifestation podcast where I talked about manifesting and like making shifts in your life. And then the Scorpio energy was so intense, I ended up talking about that. So hopefully in the next few days, I will have the podcast up about manifesting and transitions, and I'll talk about that. And hopefully, now that I'm not traveling, knock on wood, now that I'm not traveling, I can be consistent again with my posting. And I can be able to get a regular day and time for the podcast also, where it's like the same day, same time every week, and do it live. Do it live so that you guys can call in and ask questions, or you know, maybe I can pull cards. You know, maybe some of the podcasts I'll open it up to pulling cards for people who call in, or just letting people call and ask questions about like things they've been trying to deal with spiritually, or things that they've been wondering about. So we'll look into that, right? Thank you for your patience, those of you for your continued love and support, even in my inconsistent posting here. But I thank you all for watching, liking, sharing, commenting, and subscribing. Don't forget, if you're looking for love and romance, check out the monthly love readings. Those are linked in the description. Private readings at calendly.com/amethystangelite. Bye.